The truth about a broken relationship. It was late at night. I was sitting in my room staring at my mobile screen. The silence was so intense that I could even hear my heartbeat. The message that was flashing on the screen was enough to shake the foundations of my life. If you think he is loyal to you, then you are deeply mistaken. This message came from an unknown number. My heart felt like someone had clenched it in a fist. Zara and I had been married for 4 years. She always came to me with a smile, spoke softly, and did everything a good wife would do. I often told my friends, "Dude, I'm lucky. It's hard to find a wife like Zara." But this message, this word, kept cutting into my existence. I decided to call this number the next morning, but sleep was far from my eyes. Memories kept playing like a movie. The day I first met Zara, the college function, her laughter, and my heart going wild. When morning came, I called with a stone on my heart. A voice came from the other side. "If you want to know the truth, then come to Cafe's No Light tonight." I asked, "Who are you?" but the call was disconnected. The whole day passed in agony. As evening fell, I said to Zara, "It will be late today. A friend is getting married." She smiled, "Okay, but don't stay too long." There was that innocent sparkle in her eyes that had been soothing me for years. But today, that sparkle felt like poison to me. At 8 o'clock in the night, I arrived at this cafe. A man was waiting for me at a dark table. He was hiding his face. "You want to know the truth, right?" he said. I replied stirringly, "Yes, tell me." He held out his mobile. There were pictures of Zara on the screen. She was laughing with someone, holding hands, and in one picture, her head was resting on the man's shoulder. The ground gave way under my feet. "This is all a lie," I said in a trembling voice. The man laughed. "Time will tell the difference between lies and truth. You see for yourself, she is deceiving you." The way back home was the most difficult. I wanted to scream, to break everything, but I remained silent. When I got home, Zara was making tea in the kitchen. She looked at me and said, "So long?" I was waiting. I looked into her eyes. Was there innocence or beautiful acting? I couldn't decide. I just said, "I'm very tired. I don't want tea," and went to the bedroom and locked myself. My behavior changed in the following days. I started to be quiet. Zara asked several times, "What happened? You look worried." I would just nod. But a war was going on inside. I started checking his phone. At first, everything was normal. But then one day, I saw a message on his mobile. "Tomorrow, the same place. It's hard to live without you." My blood boiled after reading this. I decided to see the truth with my own eyes. The next night, I followed him. She left the house saying, "My mother is not well, I'm going to her." But she went straight to a restaurant. I saw her from a distance. She was there, tall, stylish clothes, and Zara was sitting in front of her, laughing as if this was her world. Tears came to my eyes and fire in my heart. But the real toast of the story was yet to come. While they were talking, I went closer and started listening secretly. The man said, "Are you sure that isn't he suspicious?" Zara smiled and said, "He's so forgetful that he'll never understand anything." These words stabbed me like a dagger in the chest. I decided, the game was over. The truth of a broken relationship. That night when I returned from the restaurant, my existence was empty. The car was racing down the road, but only one scene was circulating in my mind. Zara's sentence, "He is so forgetful that he will never understand anything." These words were echoing in my ears over and over again. When I reached home, she had already arrived. She was standing in the kitchen washing dishes as if nothing had happened. I thought, this woman is a perfect actress. "Will you eat?" she asked innocently. I bowed my head and said, "I am not hungry," and went to the room and locked myself. For 2 days I kept quiet. Zara looked worried. She asked several times, Say something, you have become strange." All I said was, "There is pressure from work." But there was a storm inside. On the third day, I decided that now I would play the game my way. I called my friend Adnan, who was a private investigator. I told him everything. Adnan said, "If you want proof, give me 3 days. I will bring everything to light." I nodded in agreement. I controlled myself a lot during these 3 days. I behaved normally toward Zara, but showed more affection than before so that she would not suspect. One night I said, "Zara, tomorrow is a holiday. Shall we go out somewhere?" She was happy. She smiled and said, "Wow, do you even remember that there is a wife?" I thought to myself, "Yes, I remember, but soon you will forget that there was a husband." The next morning we both went to a rest house. There Zara was very happy, joking with me, but I was hollow inside. Every smile felt like poison to me. In the evening, when we were returning, Adnan called. He said, "The work is completed. I will show you everything." The next day I called him to my office. He brought a file and a USB. "Look at this. Pictures, call records, chat screenshots, everything." I saw one thing after another. Every picture, every message was tearing my being apart. In one message, Zara had written to this man, "My life begins when he goes to the office." Tears welled up in my eyes, but Adnan patted my shoulder. "Take courage. Now it's up to you what to do next." That night, I decided to expose Zara, but not in the usual way, but in such a way that every smile, every lie she remembers becomes a wound. I made a plan. The next day, Zara came to me and I said with fake joy, "Listen, I've thought of having a party. Just my close friends and relatives. You'll be happy too." Her eyes sparkled. "Really? Wow, something good will happen after a long time." I smiled, but that smile was a mask. The party preparations began. I also called Adnan so that he could record everything. The night of the party. All the guests came. There was laughter, fragrance, laughter. Zara was also dressed up and was the center of everyone's eyes. Looking at her, I was thinking, this woman whom everyone is jealous of, this is the biggest deception. After dinner, I told everyone, "Tonight is very special for me, and I want to share the biggest truth of my life with all of you." Everyone fell silent. Zara looked at me with surprised eyes. I turned on the projector. Pictures of Zara and the man started playing on the screen. Then their messages, and finally the video in which the two of them were hugging each other. The room fell silent. Zara's face turned white. I said in front of everyone, "This is my wife, whom I trusted blindly, and this is her truth." The guests bowed their heads, surprise on some faces, hatred on others. Tears filled Zara's eyes. She came to me and said, crying, This is all wrong. I didn't do anything like that." I looked into her eyes and said coldly, "There is no need to lie now." She fell at my feet. "Forgive me. It was a mistake. I was trapped. I love you." But at that moment, the man inside me had died. I announced to everyone, "After today, this woman is not in my life." The guests left one by one. The room became empty. Zara sat on the floor and cried. I looked at her and said the last sentence. "You didn't break me. You destroyed yourself." And I closed the door and walked out. But the real twist of the story was yet to come, because the next morning when I reached the office, I found an unknown envelope. Inside was a picture, in which the same man was with another woman, and at the bottom it was written, "The one you destroyed everything with, she also betrayed you." The truth is much darker than you thought. The truth of a broken relationship. The envelope on the office desk in the morning was taking my breath away. I looked at the picture many times. The same man Zara had been laughing with, now holding another woman in his arms. And underneath it was written, "The one you ruined your world for is also a cheater." A strange void spread inside me. Was Zara really trapped in a trap by a man who was cheating not only me but also her? I collapsed into a chair. Questions began to arise in my heart. Did Zara really cheat me on purpose, or was she also the victim of some game? For 2 days I did not speak to Zara. She would lock herself in her room, not eat, and just cry. Sometimes her voice would come from outside the door. "Give me a chance. Please listen to me." But I was turned to stone. On the 3rd evening, Adnan came to me. He showed her the envelope. He looked at the picture carefully and said, "This girl, this is no ordinary girl. This is Alicia, who has been involved in several big cases. Both she and her partner blackmail people." My senses were blown away. So, this was all a plan? Adnan shook his head. "Yes, it is possible that Zara was used. But you have to decide whether she is guilty or a prisoner." That night, I opened the door for the first time. Zara was sitting on the bed, her eyes swollen. As soon as she saw me, she ran and fell at my feet. "For God's sake, listen to me. I have never stopped loving you. That man, he seduced me. He said that if I did not obey, he would harm you. I started going with him out of fear." Tears welled up in my eyes, but a bitter question came to my tongue. "Then why did you tell him that I had forgotten, that I couldn't understand anything?" She cried and said, "It was all a lie. I was under his control. He recorded everything and threatened me. I wanted to save you, but in the end, everything turned upside down." I looked into his eyes. There was a fear there, and maybe the truth too. But it wasn't that easy to believe. I decided that I had to know the truth one last time. The next day, Adnan and I followed the man. He went to a hotel, and Alicia was already there with him. We hid outside the room and recorded everything. They were both laughing. Zara turned out to be an easy prey. Her husband also admitted everything. Now, the next target is bigger. This time, we will get millions. Hearing this, a fire ignited in my being. Adnan immediately informed the police. In no time, a raid was conducted, and they were both caught red-handed. After returning home, I told Zara everything. She burst into tears. "I didn't cheat you. I was trapped. I wish you had listened to me first." This moment was the most difficult for me. On one hand, there were the wounds he had inflicted. On the other hand, the truth that had come to me. The next day, the police took statements from both of them. The man confessed that Zara had been blackmailed by trapping her. Alicia also accepted everything. But wounds in the heart do not heal easily. I went to Zara's room at night. She was sitting quietly by the window. I said slowly, "You are free, but I am broken." She looked at me, her eyes filled with tears. "If you want, leave me, but remember that my heart was always yours." My steps stopped. I thought, is it possible to trust again after being hurt by betrayal once? Silence spread in the room. Meanwhile, Adnan revealed another thing to me. "You think the game is over? But the real player has not yet emerged. They were both just pawns. There is someone else who is making all this happen." My body shivered. "Who?" Adnan said, "I don't know yet. But there is a clue. The envelope in which the photo was sent has a secret mark on it. And this mark seems to be from your close circle. That is, someone of my own? Someone close to me was playing all this game?" I thought to myself, isn't the deception over yet? The truth of a broken relationship, Adnan's words echoed in my ears. The real player is still there, and he's someone close to you. Faces started to roll through my mind. Friends, relatives, colleagues, who could have wanted to break me to this extent? I said to Adnan, "Are you sure?" He said, "Yes. I saw a mark on the envelope. It's not ordinary, it's personal. And I have seen this mark before on someone close to you." My breathing quickened. Who? Adnan paused, then said, "Your oldest friend, Waqas." Electricity ran through my body as soon as I heard this name. Waqas, the one with whom I grew up since childhood, the one who had celebrated the most on my wedding day. He was my brotherly friend. "This is impossible," I shouted. Adnan shrugged. "The truth is bitter, but it is useless to say anything without proof. We have to keep an eye on him." We followed Waqas for the next few days. He seemed to be living a normal life, going to the office, meeting friends, returning home. But one night Adnan called me. "Come today, I want to show you everything." I accompanied him to a deserted warehouse in the city. There, in the darkness, Waqas was talking to someone. Adnan secretly recorded it. Waqas's voice echoed. Zara was easily caught in the trap. Just a little scare and blackmail, and she agreed to everything. The goal was to break her husband's pride. He must be shattered by now. My heart stopped beating. These words belonged to my closest friend. Waqas continued. "I always felt jealous of his achievements. A wife like Zara, money, respect. He had everything. Now he will also reach the state as if I have been living for years." I stood in the dark, my hands clenched into fists. I wanted to go and strangle him right now. But Adnan grabbed my arm. "Not now. The whole game must end first." The next day I told Zara everything. She was taken aback. "Waqas? But he has always been your well-wisher." I said bitterly, "People in masks are often the biggest enemies." Tears welled up in Zara's eyes. "I wish I had told you everything earlier. Maybe we wouldn't have broken up so much." I said nothing. Only the fire of revenge was burning inside me. We made a plan. I called Waqas. "Dude, it's been a long time. Let's have dinner. You come too. Zara will be there too." As if to reminisce about the old days. There was hesitation in his voice, but he agreed. On dinner night, the three of us were sitting at the same table. Zara was wearing a fake smile, and I was hiding a storm inside. After a while, I connected to the mobile TV and said, "Waqas, I want to show you something." The same recording started playing on the screen in which Waqas was confessing his plan. Zara looked at him in shock. Waqas's face turned pale in an instant. This is all wrong," he stammered. I replied in a cold tone, "What you did to me was wrong. Now your true face has been exposed in front of everyone." Waqas clenched his fists in anger. "You took everything away from me. Since childhood, you were ahead of me in everything. Honor, wealth, love, even Zara. You never knew how much I was burning inside." Zara said in a trembling voice, "And to quench your burning, you ruined our lives?" Waqas laughed sarcastically. "Yes, and I felt relieved to see you both break up." At that moment, Adnan entered the room, accompanied by the police. "Your game of peace is over now," Adnan said. The police arrested Waqas. As he left, he was staring at me, hatred burning in his eyes. "This game is not over. I will back," he shouted. The room fell silent. Zara was in tears. I took a deep breath while sitting on the chair. Everything had come to light, but the wounds in my heart were still there. Zara came closer to me and said softly, "Now the truth is out in front of me. Now believe me." I looked into his eyes. There was truth, regret, but also the shadow that was breaking my trust again and again. When I sat alone at night, I was lost in thought. Waqas played the game, Zara got caught. I broke down. But is it all over? Or is this just the beginning? Darkness was spreading outside the window, and I knew stories don't end in darkness. They just take on new forms.